My name is Kujo Yankson. Let me tell you how to turn back time. You can now bring back all the fun, all the excitement, all the controversy of the Super Morning Show and all your favorite Joy shows when you go to myjoyonline.com/podcasts. Just select your favorite show and bring it all back again. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Radio, Joy 99.7.
First up this afternoon, tourist arrivals expected to grow by 47% this year following easing of COVID-19 restrictions. That's according to Fitch Solutions research arm of ratings agency Fitch. Charles Nixon-Yeboah has more.
This is coming from a contraction of 65% last year due to effects of COVID-19, which triggered restrictions in some sectors of the economy. As a result, the economy grew by a paltry 0.4%, because many subsectors, including the hospitality, registered negative growth rates. This is because economic activity was at a standstill or had fallen drastically. But a further easing of the lockdown by the government and an improved condition globally due to vaccinations of majority of the populace has sparked tourist arrivals into the country. According to Fitch Solutions, the rollout of vaccines and the easing of restrictions for inbound tourists is key for the recovery of the country's tourism sector. It therefore projected the growth rate in tourist arrivals to remain positive next year, expanding by 28.4%. Further, the research arm of ratings agency Fitch said the positive growth in tourist arrivals in 2021 and next year bodes well for the hospitality businesses such as restaurants and hotels, as well as recreation and culture establishments. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, the hotel and restaurant subsector was the third fastest growing in the second quarter of this year.
Well, more on this, joining us is Executive Secretary of the Ghana Tourism Federation, Emmanuel Frimpong. Great to have you on this afternoon. This is certainly some good news, but question is if you have what it takes to support this growth in tourist arrivals, should it happen by the end of this year?
A very good afternoon to you, Darrell, and to your cherished viewers. This is quite an interesting question. I think for us, we are expecting this growth to come. But a question that you've asked if we are prepared, to be honest with you, as a sector, we have not really prepared ourselves for that massive growth. Because if you look at what COVID did to most of our facilities, some of them would need to actually repaint, some of them will need to retrain their workers, some of them will need to get a few things, car rentals, some of them will need to purchase new cars or new batteries, a few other things that need to be done. And we haven't seen that much of investment into our sector the past 2 years that we've seen COVID. So we are expecting the growth, but as to whether we have really prepared ourselves, I don't think we have done that much for that growth. But and what GTA is doing, maybe in the next few months, we should be in a position to receive that huge arrival.
Okay, and understandably so because of the impact of COVID-19 on the sector. But I also want to ask you about the strategy for Christmas, which is a little over 2 months away, because that's where most of the people under you make money.
Well, for now, if you look at the trade associations under the Federation, we are looking at how we can help them scale up, how we can help them develop their strategies for the Christmas, which is usually our bumper harvest for us. So we are also working with GTA. We are likely to roll out some level of training in the next couple of weeks. Probably you might have seen that last few days they trained some of their workers. We are scaling it up. We are training Uber drivers, some frontline operators, some tour guys, some tour operators. If we are able to roll out what we have planned, then at least we are in a position to receive arrivals in the way that we have to. But if we are not able to do that, I'm afraid the old kind of service that we've been given is what tourists are going to receive, and that is not good.
And are there still some sectors facing restrictions? I mean, COVID-19 restrictions, and how are they coping?
Sorry, come again.
I'm asking if there are still some businesses under the tourism sector facing restrictions now, COVID-19 restrictions, and how are they coping? As we talk about Christmas and the anticipation that things are going to be a bit better for you guys.
Well, the parks and beaches are still closed. As the president said, I think at his last event that he spoke, I think they are still working with the industry people to look at the best way that they can actually open up. Hopefully, that can be done before the Christmas so that those in that sector who have suffered for the past 18 months or so can actually see some semblance of they getting back into business. So that is what we are looking forward to. I know there has been some engagement, but as to how far they've gone with it, we are yet to see.
Now, this week is being marked Customer Service Week, and this is a very important subject for the tourism sector. How would you rate how Ghana's tourism sector has fared in this area based on your experiences abroad?
Well, customer service generally in Ghana is not the best. I always say that we have that Ghanaian culture of serving, but when it comes to the professionality or the professionalism of it, having that professional touch is what we lack. And that is where the training and capacity building comes in. So as a sector, I wouldn't say we've done well. As I speak with you, I'm speaking from a training that we are having right now since Sunday. And we are still looking at how best we can build our customer service and how we can help our sector. So I wouldn't say we felt well, because as we went around ourselves, we have seen that there is so much that we need to do. There is so much that we need to do as a sector in terms of customer service. So we are not there yet, but we are hopeful, because the average Ghanaian has that service in him or her. So we believe that if they get the necessary training, they should be able to give their best to their clients.
Would you agree that we need a charter to push for standards in the tourism sector? Would you advocate one?
I don't think we need a charter. GTA is there. I mean, they have the mandate to do everything that has to do with tourism and hospitality. What we haven't seen is the will to actually implement some of the things that we have in our laws. If we are able to do that, because for every hotel to operate, there is a minimum standard that hotel should operate, depending on the style of the hotel. If you go around, you realize that the hotels, the restaurants, the other operators are not adhering to those regulations that they must adhere to. So if we have an agency that is mandated to do that, we have to look out for if they are doing it or not. If they are not doing it, then we should find a way out. But I don't think there should be another charter or another agency to look at that. But GTA has to do their work.
All right. Thanks very much for your thoughts this afternoon. You heard Emmanuel Frimpong, who is Executive Secretary of the Ghana Tourism Federation. Thanks for your time. Let's turn to other news for you. The Asante Hinotumfo Setu II wants laws on ownership of mineral resources reviewed to cede some authority to traditional leaders. He argues the traditional authority, as owners of lands, deserve similar authority over deposits. The Asante believes full ownership of the deposits by government is unfair to the traditional authority. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
Ghana's Minerals and Mining Act vests all natural resources in the President in trust for the people of Ghana. By this, the President takes all decisions regarding exploration despite traditional authority wielding ownership of lands. Otumfo Osei-Tutu, however, disagrees.
Na wonam masase so kɔ na ase ende me wonka ho ende nya wo munti na America me hu se ende emre mu no ye sisi e wo se ye sa hwe asem ne yie ebi ne boase ye nso a Said the one you tuna the a home Sicano Boagana macro.
The Asantehene was addressing a delegation from the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation, who introduced Rockshore International as strategic partner for the Nyinahini bauxite mine. The mine has been divided into 3 concessions, with the current partner being granted one of them. To fully benefit the country, the Asantehene wants qualified companies to be selected for the other 2 concessions.
The Akanon so a buyer no so a bumper so many papa won't name dear. Nanso woman no my share near the Amay. Nim said, and Nana Bako NDC time at the court a company and crowd is a zone BBB. Woman, you know, says the Abaya can be aka. Woman so quiet tender, and be next woman, young farmer woman, no so yet man in ye. Said the rock show for you, no, so, Nidian and now will be a woman, dear, be between a one day. Uncle, you be now buying for the Akan be more, no man, you know, so your man in ye, my. Your bumper said, he wouldn't, you know, you been your nipper, me, you know, Koyama, a dim one and Puntiaba.
As part of the project, a bauxite refinery will be built. An estimation of the quality of resources in the concession will be done for approval. Michael Ansa is the CEO of Gayadec.
To start with, there are a number of things that you do in any mining project. First is to carry out mineral resource estimates. So we'll estimate the quality and the quantity of bauxite that we have in the area that's been assigned to Rockshore International. That's the joint venture between Rockshore and Gayadec. And once we have done that, then the next thing is for us to put together the arrangements for the joint venture company that will seek the mining lease for us to put together the whole program. So not just mining, but mining and refinery to be able to go to Parliament or to any other authority that will require permission from to be able to execute the work.
The Ghana Standards Authority says it will, before December this year, commence enforcement of weights and measurement of goods sold in the markets. There have been concerns by some consumers that they are being shortchanged. Now, this could see the tin used for measurements, popularly called Olunka, gradually phased out. Professor Alex Dodo is Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, and he spoke on PM Express Business Edition.
Christmas, we are going to come and meet Ghanaians and tell them this is what we are doing. We want to introduce skills, but if we enforce rigorously, the very people we want to save will not be saved. However...
So you're not going to enforce it, Prof?
We will enforce. Now, let me tell you where the sweet spot is, because I look for sweet spots. We noticed that across Ghana in all the markets, Olunka of Gari will vary between 1.9 kilograms to about 2.1 kilograms.
Yeah.
So 1,900 grams to 2,100 grams, Olunka roughly.
Yeah. And
currently the price is about 11 cedis, 12 cedis, based on which market you buy it. Me, I buy from Salaga market. It can go to 13 cedis, but if you know the woman, so when we did that survey, we noticed that, okay, what about the supermarkets? It's packaged in just one plastic bag, which doesn't cost 2 pesos, in 1 kilos. And guess how much is sold? 15 cedis, 12 cedis. So if the woman in the market can even package the Olunka in 1 kilogram, and get a weight right, and if you sell it for 8, for 2, she gets 16 cedis, which is at least another 4 cedis more than 12 cedis. 4 over 12 times 100 is another 33% increase in their margins. That is wealth in their pockets. And we need to now find a way of explaining to her, say, we are helping you. When they see it, the uptake will start going up. But if you go forcing them, you're going to put a poor person in a poorer state.
Do I get the understanding from you that we're making some progress on these enforcement of these weighing stuff in the market before Christmas?
Yes. Yes, but it's not going to be across board purely because we don't even have the skills to give to the market women. And that is an opportunity for those who want to fabricate. And that's a different topic because how many people do we have in Ghana who understand what we call precision and fabrication or precision?
So it's more the process will start before Christmas in terms of enforcement.
It has actually already started.
Yeah.
We have given the evidence that if we do standardize these things, the market woman or market man is going to make 50% more profit, at least.
Now, Ghana imports more than $400 million worth of rice annually to supplement local production. To reduce importation of rice, the Soil Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research is educating farmers on a new technology to increase rice yields and cultivation in Ghana. Anita Sewa Juga filed this report.
Rice consumption in Ghana has increased from 38 to 63 kilograms per person between 2008 and 2018. The current rice production meets less than 40% of consumption requirement in Ghana. The introduction of the SAWA technology by the CSIR-SRI will increase rice production at Esutifi South District in the Ahafo region. Dr. Ephraim Sechi-Anan is a research scientist at the Soil Research Institute.
We see that rice is the second most important crop in West Africa and also in Ghana. And we need to augment its production because the consumption of rice has risen from about 38 kilograms per person per year in 2008 to about 63 kilograms per person per year in 2018, and considering the trend clearly in 2021 it will go higher, so it has doubled over the decade.
The adoption of the SAWA technology leads to the production of more paddy rice. The research scientist believes Ghana has the potential to become rice sufficient if the technology is used efficiently.
We have about 700,000 hectares of lowland in Ghana where we can produce rice. But then farmers adopt this rudimentary methods of poor land preparation. But now, through the Modernizing Agriculture in Ghana program, which is sponsored by the Canadian government, the government of Ghana has mandated the CSIR Soil Research Institute to roll out some of the technologies we have developed, which specifically for today's program is the SAWA technology.
The Modernizing Agriculture in Ghana MAG initiative is to improve food security and make the agriculture sector modern, equitable and sustainable. Regional Director of Agriculture Kensford Nyame promised to provide machinery to support farmers in the Ahafo region to increase rice yields.
We now have one AMSEC center, PDM, Agric Mechanization Center. Okay. We have one at PDM. And all the machines have been given to the district assembly for farmers to go and then hire for their farm operations.
Some farmers who benefited from the project lauded the institution for the technology.
After the verification demonstration on the SAWA technology was done on my farm, I noticed that it has increased my rice yields.
Anita Sewa Ajuga's report read to you.
And you're watching The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking housing, funding the housing sector, as well as U.S.-Africa trade. Stay tuned. Welcome back to The Marketplace. International housing firm Gateway Real Estate Africa is urging government to find a way of creating a partnership with pension fund holders and stock market investors to channel some funds to the housing sector. This, it says, will help in bridging the housing gap. Now, according to Chief Executive Greg Pearson, the idea has worked in many countries and likely to work if all stakeholders are on board. Now, he has been sharing his thoughts on how the sector can be revived post-COVID-19.
The partnerships that we talk about is partnering with your pension funds in the countries we operate. So if you look at that, we are real estate specialists. We've got diaspora from, global diaspora, and we brought them back to the countries that we operate in. And Ghana is a very good example where you've got real estate specialists that are well educated globally that we've managed to attract back to Ghana. Now, we consider ourselves as real estate specialists. We're trying to work with the pension funds of the country that we can manage their real estate and provide them with a better return. So in this instance, we need support. We need to have that collaboration, and we can provide a better return and manage property portfolios, in our opinion, better than the insurance companies and the pension funds. And we've done some great collaboration in the likes of Botswana, in the likes of Mauritius, in the likes of Mozambique, where the pension funds have come together and we've collaborated to make a much bigger real estate platform. In that instance, you know, what I would say is if you're not in real estate and you're not a specialist in real estate, it's best to rent, because the focus of the people that specialize in that will always provide you with a great service. On a homeowner's situation, it's always, you know, it depends on your financial situation, and, you know, that freedom that you want to have, whether to rent or to buy. So it's always a very difficult and personal question, because there's a lot of an emotion involved in housing, where corporate accommodation or commercial accommodation, it's a business decision. So yeah, a very difficult one to say whether it's right or wrong.
The non-engagement of U.S. partners provide trade and technical assistance has been blamed as the #1 reason for little trade between U.S. and Africa. Odilia Ntiamwa engaged the director for the Center for International Trade Development in Miami, Kemi Arozenye, who says Africa should spend on technical partners from different trading blocs to reap the full benefits. She is in the country to unveil the Africa representative for the Center for International Trade Development, who is a Ghanaian, that is Sally Tope. Here's more from the interview.
Particularly in its ability to export processed. We're talking about processed. Right now, we're exporting crude oil. We're exporting commodities like cocoa and raw cashew and stuff like that. So if you look at the numbers, the bulk of that, for example, Ghana still does less than $1 billion in terms of exporting to the United States, and about 65% of that is crude oil. 20% of that is about raw commodities in cocoa, for example. And so it's difficult to get manufactured product, finished product into advanced countries. So what anyone would tell you is, oh, it has to do with our packaging, it has to do with our quality. In our own analysis, even though those are also one of the issues that we have, that's not the main issue, that's not the major issue. In our research, we found that non-engagement of U.S. partners to provide trade and technical assistance is key, is what we actually rated as #1. Because whatever you don't know, you can learn. So if you don't know how to package that will meet the requirement for a particular country, you can learn that. But who is teaching you is the person who is teaching you from that market. That's where our organization plays a role. Because when you're going to a foreign market, you need partners, you need technical assistance from that market. You can't understand a foreign market more than the people operating in that market. So really, engaging technical partners from wherever you want to go, whether UK or the United States, is what would help you to be able to overcome all the other challenges. Once you have those that technical partnership in place, then it becomes easy for you to be able to solve the problem of meeting the regulatory requirements or the standard or all of that. Because that comes with industry expert, that comes with in a package under the technical assistance that you are going to get from the partner. Another key that we found, key reason that we found affecting Africa's export capability or performance into advanced markets has to do with lack of funding. There's no sufficient funding to drive export facilitation initiatives. Export development is very expensive. Trade development is very expensive everywhere in the world. So go and check the countries that are top in terms of their trade, export, whether export in goods or services. The United States, Germany, Japan, they have huge programs. They have huge funding. They have a lot of programs to support their small businesses and to drive this initiative. So trade does not just happen. Okay, there's a strategy behind it, and we can change the situation in Africa. I live in Maya.
What are the collaborative efforts with the Ministry of Trade, for example? Because this that you talk about is critical for the Continental Free Trade Area. It's critical for our other trade partnerships with other blocs. So exactly what are the collaborative efforts to close some of these gaps? If you can do that in a minute.
Yeah, we're engaging with almost all the ministries of trade in Africa and reaching out to them, sending them our proposals. We're talking to them, letting them understand how they can review their strategy. We're doing strategy review, actually, because one of the reasons is also that many of these countries do not have a very clear strategy on an implementation of AGOA for 21 years now. Go and ask many of these countries, they don't have a clear strategy to implement AGOA in their countries. So we are doing this to help them review their export or trade strategy.
About reinforcing our walls. When I say reinforcing our walls, it would mean to employ strategies in terms of technical assistance. For example, cutting issues, sizing, things that international standards require, to go into any market. Even if we were talking about our own Africa market space, there definitely has to be a way to reach people with your designs in a particular way, packaged in a particular way, or done in a particular way. So we are doing well. It's just that we have to repackage. There's a huge difference reaching individuals with your apparel, and there's a huge difference going to a mass market.
And that's the marketplace. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Get the day's latest from there. My name is Darryl Clark. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.